Welcome to another edition of Influence, the global podcast that shines a spotlight on the influencer marketing industry. My name is Gordon Glenister. And for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm also a keynote speaker, trainer and consultant in the sector and published author on influencer marketing strategy. Influence is also a proud member of the Marketing Podcast Network, where you can listen to other amazing influencer and marketing related shows. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to this show just to make sure that you don't miss a future episode. Welcome to another edition of the Influence Global podcast, and I'm very excited today to have a really special guest with me, and that is no other than Layla Flaherty. Have I got that right, Layla? Is that right?
Yeah.
Who is the CEO and founder of Urban Paws UK. So today we're going to talk all about pet influencers, which have been a hugely growing phenomenon. So before we talk about that, Layla, obviously welcome to the show. Lovely to see you here and hear your voice.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into running this pet agency, and before we talk about the pet influencers per se.
No problem. So yeah, I started the company back in 2015. I had come from an industry, from the modeling industry. I had done a small bit of modeling myself. I had done a small bit of TV, so I kind of had a fair idea as to how the industry worked for humans. And I was at a point where I just really wanted a career change. I had always wanted to work with animals. So it was a case of, well, what I knew and what my passion, my love. So I put the two together and came up with Urban Paws UK. With me being based up north, in the north of the UK, there was no real other competitors, because everything really was predominantly London based. So it kind of made sense that, there was a gap in the market for another agency, but outside of London, really. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened in a nutshell.
Wow. So how big is the business now?
Sorry, say that again.
How big is the business now?
So we are 7 years in. We have a full team. I started with Urban Paws UK, then we expanded to Urban Paws Influencers. We're now moving into Urban Paws Ireland and products as well. So it's growing rapidly. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
So I'm obviously specifically interested in these influencers, particularly. Are you? And it's largely, is it dogs and cats, or is it more
It's
than that?
all animals. So we have hedgehogs, we have birds, we have bees. There's everything.
Oh wow! You mentioned hedgehog, so we've got a hedgehog influencer, have we?
We have a few actually, yeah. And
Really?
there's everything, every type of animal now. It isn't just limited to cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Any animal can be an influencer.
So why have they been so successful? And I'm guessing a lot of this is video driven as well.
Yeah.
But why have they been so successful in your eyes?
I think with animals, we're not as judgmental as we are with humans, first of all. And a lot of these influencers, whether they be travel bloggers or food critics or fashion bloggers, whatever type of influencer that they are, as humans, we tend to kind of live through the eyes of the influencer. They create this kind of whole new world for us where we're nearly envious of them. I've got some influencers and they probably have traveled to more countries than I have.
Mm.
And, they're living this life that we could only dream about, whether it be walking down red carpets or jetting off first class to Paris, or rocking up at some Michelin star 5-star restaurant. They're living the dream that we could only imagine.
Yeah, whereas pets aren't always there.
Oh,
There's an emotional experience, isn't there?
yes,
Attachment,
there
which I
certainly
think.
is. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So tell me about the process then. So tell me how a brand might want to involve and engage a dog influencer.
We get a lot of brands that they will contact us, the agency, wanting to work with specific influencers. Now, 9 times out of 10, that company is non-pet related. So it's a human product or it's a human service, nothing to do with animals at all. But because some of these animals, their followers, are so engaged, their reach is astronomical.
Yeah.
They have a huge engagement. They might have a worldwide reach. So it makes sense for these companies to want to work with these influencers, these pet influencers. And so it kind of in a way works out more influential than using human influencers,
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, I agree, and it's something I talk about quite a lot in my influencer workshops as well. In fact, I think they're they're one of the highest paid actually, proportionately, aren't they?
They're up there. They are up there.
Because of the reach and engagement they get for the brand,
Yeah.
which I think is
Mm.
important. Perhaps give me some examples of some campaigns that you've got involved with.
Oh God, where to begin? So we get a lot of meet and greets for one. So we've had pets that have been invited to Google's main office. We have had pets that would walk the red carpet, say, for example, like at the launch of a new film, like 100 Million Dalmatians. Say, for example, Sainsbury's is launching a new doggy cake. So they will have influencers shouting all about this cake. We've had HarperCollins, for example, sending out books to certain pets, and again, just sharing this with their followers. We've had, of course, all the usual, the cat brands and pet food companies. They will send out, pet food products and treats, etc., to pets. We've had Amazon, for example. They will send out products to our pet reviewers. So they will review the toys or the interactive toys, etc., and then obviously give a review about the product. Then we have like pet friendly stays, like cottages or
Of course.
hotels, and they will invite a pet reviewer or travel blogger along to try out this beautiful 5-star cottage for a weekend, and then to obviously blog about it. So it really, it can be anything. It can be right across the board. Then of course you have also like it could be a watch from a particular watch company that, again, nothing to do with pets, but the companies want to be associated with these pets.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
any bad press or any negativity associated with pets. It's very much that emotional engagement. It's very rare that you meet people that don't like pets. So it's always it's positive advertising, really.
Yeah, I remember on TV there was a great commercial, but unfortunately I can't remember the name of it. But it was like a dog, a cat, and a mouse almost kissing each other, and it was so it was so captivating.
It
Worked really
is.
really well.
And
Yeah,
people always remember the adverts with animals in. It's
yeah.
if you go back years ago, do you remember the Kit Kat adverts? There was the guy on the rollerblades, and I'm sure it was a panda or something that was,
Yeah.
they're always the iconic adverts where what animals are featured.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. So we talked about engagement.
Mhm.
What type of engagement do they get on Instagram? I mean, we know the average engagement for a post is 1.7%. What
Mm.
might a brand get by using a pet influencer?
With pets, they tend to have double the engagement.
Right,
I've
okay.
even seen it where there's treble. So
Yeah,
the engagement is always a lot higher for pets than it is for humans.
yeah. And most of the content that you're seeing, is it video? I'm assuming it is, but is it?
Not always. I mean, I would say probably 70-80% of the content is reels, because reels are,
Of
they
course.
perform the best on especially on Instagram and TikTok. It's video.
Yeah.
But so we do have some influencers that are just purely photographic. And that works for them. But they're very creative with their photography. The animal might be wearing sunglasses, then the next day it's rollerblading or on a skateboard, and they're always painting and creating this picture for you. So that works for them.
Yeah. And what trends are you seeing? What type of content I mean, we've said video, but
Mhm.
within that, and you mentioned a few, but what type of things are you seeing? Is it shorter form content? Are you seeing episodal content? Are
Yeah.
you seeing just amazing, stunning photography? What are you picking up?
It really varies. A lot of influencers now tend to keep a certain color theme running for a week or two, depending as well. Like around Christmas, it's red, Valentine's, it's pink, Easter, it's yellow. So they're really kept to kind of staying in line with what's going on with the seasons. Then you have other influencers who kind of they jump on the viral trends. Then we have others that are very simplistic, they everything's very neutral. So it really depends on the influencer, but they do tend to follow what's happening, in on social media and in the world around us.
Yeah.
That's why they are influencers. They follow, trends, viral trends.
Yeah. So give me an example of some of the size of some of these pets in terms of their following on Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, some of our pets have, over 1 million followers. So we represent everything from 10,000 plus. So yeah, but some have over 1 million followers. I mean, obviously the American influencers are still miles ahead of the UK influencers because they always will be.
Quite.
They set the trends.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have quite a large amount of influencers with huge mega followings.
And of your total mix, it's cats and dogs, the biggest, I guess.
I would say cats, dogs, and horses.
Oh, and horses.
And
Okay.
birds as well. Yeah,
Birds.
yeah.
Give me an example of a big bird influencer then.
We have Mikey and Mia. They're macaws, and yeah, they're quite big.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mm.
because I guess they can talk. Can they talk back? And because they can
No,
all.
I think just people love to see the free flight.
Right.
Even though they're not living in the wild, but the owners, the handlers, still like to kind of create this very natural habitat for them, and people just they're so beautiful. People just love to see them in free flight, and they're just stunning animals.
Yeah, of course, of course. No, it's really amazing, isn't it? So what's the future look like for you? What's your plans? I mean, are you going to go more global than you already
Oh
are, or are
God,
you
I
going
need
to
about
another?
10 of me, Gordon, if I'm to go global. But the plan is to branch into Ireland. So we're currently in the process of Urban Pools Ireland. It'll be, I could imagine it'll be slightly different. It'll be more your farm animals, in Ireland. And they still probably don't capture animals in advertising like we do here in the UK. I think the UK is miles ahead in terms of being a nation of animal lovers,
Yeah.
but the shift is slowly changing. So I think we need to get in there whilst before that shift actually does turn. So yeah, that's the plan. So Urban Pools Ireland. So watch this space on
Oh,
that one.
exciting. Have you actually appeared in any sort of ads or you said that you were a former model per
No,
se,
not ads.
you've not
No.
appeared. No, because I wondered if you get models, fashion models with pets, I could see
Oh,
that being quite an interesting combination.
all the time, but they would be hired from like actual model agencies
Right,
as
yeah.
opposed to coming via us or
Yeah.
anything. I mean,
And
we do get some clients that will ask, if we have any pet owners that are happy to be photographed or filmed with their pet. We do get
yeah.
that quite a lot as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, the only reason I mention that is because also, what do they say when you're the stars, the television stars will often say there's things I won't work. The presenters often, I was trying to think of, will often say there's things that I won't work with, and that's children and
Yes,
pets.
yes.
So I guess have there been like, for example, pets that have not not performed on shoots or just had a bad hair day.
Touch wood, touch wood. It's very rare that that happens. I could probably count on one hand where the animal wasn't playing ball, so to speak. However, we kind of worked around it because they are animals at the end of the day.
Of
They
course,
are like children. They can be unpredictable,
of course,
regardless of how well trained they are. They're still pets. If they're
of
having an
course.
off day and they decide they don't want to do anything, you can't force them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can never forget that thing was it Crufts where
Yeah.
the dog was
Yeah.
literally running it and then had a poop, and
Yeah.
it made it onto the the
Yeah. Yeah.
highlights, didn't it?
It did. It did. It was hilarious.
Good. All right. Well, look, it's lovely to talk to you,
Yeah.
and thanks for sort of sharing your wisdom about what you're doing. I wish you all the best for the
Oh, thank
brand.
you.
And how can people find out about you? Just tell us what your website or social media
Yeah.
handles are.
So it's www.urbanpawsuk.com, and we're Urban Paws UK right across on social media, all social media.
Great, lovely. Well, thanks again, Layla,
You're welcome.
for
Thank
joining us
you.
today.
Thank you.
That's it for another edition of Influence. Please don't forget to subscribe to this show and give me your feedback. Gordon@gordonglenister.com, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, where you can also ask me a question. If you're able to leave us a 5-star review, then we do really appreciate it. Also, if you want to help any sort of help in creating an influencer marketing strategy, or you want to join the Influencer Marketing Roundtable weekly event, then just head over to www.gordonglenister.com. And if you want to find out more of the shows that we have, go over to the Influence Podcast Network. And thanks again to my producer, Neil Whiteside from Freedom One. And until next time, from me, Gordon Glenister, it's bye for now.